All right, welcome everyone to the world's famous Billions Watched. We're on multiple platforms now, by the way, if you know that. But we're live here in TikTok. We're gonna be live on other places, but we're also available on Spotify. We're also available on Apple Podcasts and also YT for the moment. But we're working on certain things. So, for example, we're going to be multi-living soon. So believe that. We're working on that. Shashi Shaw, welcome in. Do me a favor, everyone who's coming in. I need to set up real quick. I appreciate if you tap your screen, you repost, share this to people that the Authentic Podcast is live today. We finally are doing an Authentic Podcast. So give me a moment. Heart and tap. Army and tap for Joe Lobo. Oh, for me. Thanks for the person who gave me the heart. We appreciate you. We'll start in a bit. All right, Supreme D's here. Thank you so much, Supreme D. I appreciate you. Anyway, it's been a long time. I know it's been pretty busy for me, as you guys can tell. We're making moves here, so I do welcome you guys in. As I told you guys, apparently, November has been a very busy month, obviously because of the fact that my older brother was in the United States. He was handling some certain things for us. For example, clearing out our storage, number one. So some of you, I think I talked to you guys before about it. $400 a month. Basically $400 a month to pay for storage, a 20-foot by 20-foot storage for, and I told you guys before, like, the initial plan was to live 50% here in the Philippines and then 50% in the United States, have some property there in the United States. But what it turned out to be, honestly, it didn't make sense at all. And in order for us to be entrepreneurs here, we have to be full-time here. So it ended up happening. That plan changed. So basically, with no plan in sight for us to move back to the United States, there was no point to have a storage. I'm live. Hold on, I'm just sharing this out to people, so give me a second. Yours now, welcome in. Thank you for the people who are hanging out with me. I appreciate you. There was no point for us to keep a storage in the United States if we weren't planning to live there. So we had to get rid of it. So that's what we did. We got rid of it. And now we have a little bit more resources to do certain things now, which is a good thing, right? And then also too, hold on, doing multitasking right now. We're also frees up a lot of resources for us to do things now, right? Yes, taking ownership of certain things, or we got to take care of responsibilities, but for the most part, like, it frees up a lot of money for things that was considered, like, at the end of, like, the month cycle or the beginning cycle, there was, there's now $400 a month available to use here. No, and I told you that before, like, it's $400 that was taken out every month, the beginning of the month, actually, to take care of a storage that we had no plans to keep. So, like, now, and I'd be honest, like, me and my older brother, like, we had plans to go to another state, look at investing in property, but honestly, I'll tell you, it is super expensive. Now that I live in the Philippines for almost now 2 years, it's super expensive to live in the United States. Ridiculous. I'm not saying, like, for example, like, we're, obviously we have to find some sustainability here in the Philippines, but, like, oh my goodness, like, my brother was telling me that they went to McDonald's. My brother and my cousin went to McDonald's. I don't know what they were. They went to Panda Express. They spent $45 at Panda Express for 2 people. That is ridiculous. So like, looking at, like, okay, well, and also too, if you didn't know, I mean, most of you folks are from here in the Philippines, and I do have a few people that, you also some people from the United States as well, but, like, living in California is expensive. And I think I told you guys before that basically, that to be considered middle class in California, you have to be making at least $200,000+ a year, which is crazy. It's mind-boggling. Like, we're like, oh my goodness, like that's a lot you can do. Like, even if you go to other states, like this is where we were planning to go to another state. We were thinking going to, if you're familiar with it, we were planning to move to Arizona. That's where my cousin's at right now. It's a little bit cheaper there, but you know, it's still expensive. It's crazy for me to believe. Mill Labels, welcome in. How you doing? It's still crazy to me for like $45 for 2 people at a Chinese fast food place. It's crazy. And you know, I don't understand, like, you know, and it's crazy too, like after I got out of that bubble, like, you know, there's a lot of people I know in California where just like, you know, most of them they love Northern California. Obviously, living in Northern California versus like living in Southern California is 2 different things. So if, for example, me living in the Bay Area, Northern California, like there's a lot of things I miss. Like, you know, the food, obviously, the people, absolutely, the convenience we have, but just like, man, the amount of money you have to sacrifice, or how do you have to sacrifice your labor? Honestly, like, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money you have to earn. I even have friends who, like, they're struggling there in California, but they're trying to make they make ends meet. But just like it's like basically the amount of money they're getting from their wage is just more enough just to pay a bill. I have a friend of mine who has a house, and with his partner, and they have a kid and another kid together. I don't know how they're living in California, and it's freaking expensive. So, like, you know, and then, you know, there goes certain situations and individuals who are like, you know, they love Northern California, they love the Bay Area. Why would they want to leave? So they will do anything they can do to stay in California. But it's just like, wow, when you get out of that bubble and you realize, oh my goodness, this is how much I was paying. Seriously, is this how much I was paying to live in California versus like, and I take a best example, living abroad, living in the Philippines. Huge difference in, you know, what you're paying. Obviously, like it's, and also too, like, I think the advantage for us, granted, you know, we have to make this sustainable here, but I think for the most part, it's much cheaper here. Tita, welcome in. How are you doing? Thank you for the harmony. Appreciate you. It's much cheaper here. Like, now again, there's give and take, right? Obviously, I think living in the United States, it is expensive, but the same way you have a lot of convenience, right? Thank you for the glow sticks, Tita. I appreciate you. There's a lot of convenience. Like, you can go down the street and go to a shopping center to get the stuff you need. Here in the Philippines, it might be challenging. Here's the best example, right? Obviously, because my brother came back with all my stuff, like my iMac, that is gonna do tons here. I think I showed you. You can check out my stories of what I did. Obviously, I have to explain it for the other audience, for Spotify and Apple Podcasts. But basically, I was trying to do what I'm planning to do now, which is like, you know, be in more places than just here in TikTok. You know what I mean? I was planning to go to other platforms, but I have my MacBook. My MacBook couldn't handle the power, they didn't have the resources to do it, so I kind of stopped it. Now, give an example, my MacBook only has 8 gigs. My iMac, because I customized it, and it was for a different purpose, obviously, right? But it has 64 gigs of memory, and it's a pretty sturdy iMac. I did build it for something else, but it actually works out for what I'm using it now, where it's like, you know, for example, for video editing, when I edit these videos and post it to other platforms, and also to what I'm planning to do now, where I'm going to utilize, I'm going to utilize OBS. If you don't know what OBS is, think of it as TikTok Live, but you're able to go different places. So this is what I've been working on today. This enables me to do that because it's not going to be because of the fact of like doing certain things like with OBS is going to be memory hungry. So my laptop couldn't do it. And also too, the internet I had back then when I was trying to do it with with back in when I was in the province house. There was no way, no how. My ping was so high, the internet was questionable. I'm now in a better position because obviously I have very fast internet here at the house in where I'm located in Punglao Island. And then just like everything's now connected. Like for example, my iMac's connected to LAN. Eventually, my PS5 is connected to LAN. So it's gonna work out for me. So with the resources I have on my iMac, now I'm able to do what I talked to you guys before. And that's why I spend my time, that's why I spend my time today is, for example, like setting the future up. And what is this future I say? It involves basically IBS. not IBS, everyone. It involves essentially OBS. So some of you may be familiar with OBS is, some do not. Now, what OBS basically is a platform that you can use to, for streamers, obviously. If they want to customize their stream in a certain way to their liking and not be essentially be stuck within the walls of a certain platform, you can use OBS. So for my sake, because of the fact that I've talked to you all before, it's just like when you are in a position, for example, like you, or I'm a podcaster or a singer, or whatever, like, it's probably not a good idea, and now I'm going to say this, it's probably not a good idea to stay in one place. I'll be 100% with you. It probably would make more sense, for example, to put yourself in different baskets. Like, for me right now, at this point, and when I realize it's just like, for me, how do I, get to the goals I want? Obviously, I manifest and always say to you, I was like, welcome to the world's famous billions watched on different platforms, blah, 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 blah. Like, how do you get to billions watched? And I've said this before, is like in TikTok, are there billions here in TikTok? And also too, like, the audience is different, the attention span is different. So like, you gotta think differently. Like, obviously, for me, I'm a little bit older. I'm a Gen Xer millennial. Obviously, if you didn't know, some platforms will work for me one way and other platforms will work for me the other way. So given that, OBS gives me the flexibility to do that. So I think I shared in my stories. You can check my stories. If you're on my TikTok page, you can check on my stories. But basically, having my iMac here, a much more powerful Mac, Apple computer, having the resources to do it enables me to do a lot of things now. So with the help of ChatGPT, because I know there's been a lot of people I've been interacting with who like have PC setups or big powerful PC setups, but they, I think it's one of the things where they're finding OBS kind of complicated. I'll be honest, and this is why I've talked to you all before, is basically, work smarter, not harder. Don't try to make it hard on yourself. What you should try to attempt to is be smart about it. So what did I do? I used ChatGPT step by step of how to do all of this, how to connect everything together to make it work in OBS. I basically tell OBS, here's what I have. I'm planning to use this camera, which is, I'm using my DJI Pocket 3. I'm still using my mixer, my Onocaster 2, to do my sound, my mic, also source music as well. I'm utilizing basically when the plan is to go live in two places, right? I'll simultaneously go live here on TikTok and then also too on the other side on YT. As you've noticed, and I mentioned to you all, like I've been starting to post content over on YT of my podcast. When I finish it, I post it there as well. But I mean, like, OBS helps me to do that. Now, OBS sounds complicated, but I realize after you go through it the first time, actually setting it up to make it work for whatever platform you're on. So like the one thing you have to learn is, for example, for TikTok, because we're in TikTok and most of the time TikTok is based on the phone, then what they call is a vertical, you have to make a vertical scene. Like, portrait to landscape. And then YT is obviously landscape. 16 by 9. I think here it's 9 by 16. So what makes it easier in OBS essentially is this. You customize it. Now, the inputs of setting it up, this is where I think it's very helpful for having AI help you out, because it can be daunting, it can be challenging. There's like, there's one of my friends here. She's a pretty big streamer. She has a powerful system. I've seen her office, what she was doing. And then it is daunting to set up an OBS, but actually after you get it, you actually get through the process, it's actually simple. And literally in Chat GPT, I'm following the steps, but when it comes to points where it doesn't make any sense for me to do it, I send a picture, I send a snapshot of, okay, here's what it is. Doesn't make sense. Where to go? And then, this is where, Chat GPT will make the corrections that, oh, actually it's here. Based sometimes on certain models of whatever OBS you have, they change it around, blah, blah, blah. What is what you do? Or for example, like when it's saying things like, okay, you should be doing this, blah, 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 but it's not working. Then I point it out, it's not working. And then it corrects it. So it's actually, there's a lot of steps to get it involved. I think the first time you go around, it's like, the first time you go around it, it can be daunting setting up the scenes, like setting up, for example, because what you're basically doing is setting up your camera, setting up your sound, setting up what you want to put in your screen. So if you want to, for example, I make it simple. I mean, going down the road will probably make it more, better. But just to get me off the playing field, I think it was important for me, just for the sake of the authentic podcast. And then also it'll probably work for when I do my gaming stuff eventually. And we'll talk about what happened with this. Oh my goodness. Made it simple. Me up top, where you see my face at the bottom, like for example, for the sake of the authentic podcast, where as I mentioned and you see me do this before, where I'm translating while I'm speaking. So what you're seeing behind me is basically a translation spit out in Tagalog. I know it's going super fast, but this will give you an idea to see what am I saying? Because I obviously, most of the people who are watching right now, whether you're in here in my live or you're in FYP listening to me, or even on Spotify, because on Apple Podcast you can only hear the recorded versions of this, but I mean basically, hold on, there we go, we're back. You're seeing basically the translation when I'm talking. And again, I mentioned it many times. The reason why I did this is because obviously living here in the Philippines, obviously it is daunting where, you're speaking English and then most of the people you interact with are speaking in Tagalog, the native tongue. So how did I hit the gap of people telling me, oh, my nose is bleeding? Just stop buying me. To make it easier. Because at the end of the day, these type of, I told you all, these type of podcasts are for you. These podcasts are essentially to inspire you to think and believe that you can do this yourself. Inspire you to get off your ass and realize that you yourself can do the same shit. That's really it. I mean, again, I only do this to inspire you. I only do this to show you. Just for example, I mentioned it before, I mentioned this before, where just the meditations I do. I meditate here on this platform because of the fact that I know what it does for me. And, I've heard it, for example, people were going stuff that, I was hearing for some people who were going off this morning, where it's just I tried meditating, it didn't work for me, but it's just you can't just meditate once a day and then the next day you can think everything's good. It's a consistent process of building of the meditation. And then when you get to a point where you're doing it every day for 2 weeks straight, that's when you make a difference. Now, you're not being realistic if you think, okay, I'll just meditate one time and then don't meditate for the next 5 days, because it's not going to work that way. You have to, anything, it's just you have to learn it. You have to put discipline to it. You have to, you got to put some effort into it in order for it to make a difference. It's the same thing as with the law of attraction manifestation. Yes, you can have positive thoughts and everything. You can have the vision, the guidance of where you want to be and the expectations of who you're going to be. However, if you don't, sometimes there's going to be times where you have to put a little bit of effort in. If you're not doing a little effort, then you're probably going to make it a little bit challenging itself to do and accomplish the things you want. And the same thing is you have to do the balancing act. I'm not saying you have to be a saint every day, but again, you have to be in a position where you're able to block out the shit of people who think differently of you. And that's the truth of it. is you have to block off all the nonsense that people think you can't do this, you can't do that, or the pandering of people saying the same shit every day, every single fucking day of the same shit of you stuff you knew and you said you're taking ownership of it. That's where, like, for example, like you, when it comes to yourself and being self-sufficient and being and believing in yourself, like those certain things you can just push away. Now, like, you know, I'm gonna be honest. I'm a human at the end of the day, and there can be times where, like, when someone is pandering me about the same shit every single fucking day, and we've talked about this before. Like, I tell everyone, you don't need to repeat it to me. Like, why do you need to repeat it to me? Unless you're doing it because you're trying to squeeze the screwdriver into my side over and over and over because you like how it makes me feel. Some people don't realize that, but it's just like, at the end of the day, like, geez, tell me once. It's more than enough. You don't need to tell me 5 million times of, like, okay, this is what you gotta do, blah 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 blah. Oh my god, talking about the same story. Like, maybe it's just like, you know, for me, it's an Aries thing for me. It's just like, you just need to tell me once. Seriously, tell me once. I get the thing. Or even if I make a mistake on something, right? I take ownership of it. This is the main gig of this. Take ownership in the things you say you're gonna do. Take ownership of what people term as faults or things of, like, you know, things you have to work on. Take ownership of it. Sometimes people don't realize that taking ownership and stuff means you don't need to tell me 5 million times of the fucking same shit. Seriously, you don't need to. Why do you need to remind me? And, like, there's some individuals, like, they keep constant reminder, but for individuals like me, we're just like, you just need to tell me once or maybe twice. That's more than enough. You know? It's fucking more than enough. Like, I hate it. It's a pet peeve of mine when people have to constantly repeat over and over and over, like, okay, the same stuff we talked about where I took ownership of it. Just like, damn, just fucking stop. And that's like, you know, for example, as much as I try to strive for patience, and mind you, you know, November was a challenge of my patience, honestly. You know, it was a challenge of patience that taking like a sacrifice in the stuff I want to do as a passion project, this podcast, or just go live, or doing the certain things I wanted to do. Yes, but sacrifice is taking care of my parents and making sure they're prioritized first. So, you know, this is the reason why we didn't go live as much. This is the reason why we didn't podcast as much, because of that. Where, you know, adult events happen where you need to take responsibility of that, and these things will deprioritize. Now, because my brother's here, it's gonna be a little bit easier to do stuff. I still have responsibilities at the end of the day, but, like, it's much easier to take care of things now because of the fact that it's not a 2-person job no longer. It's now a 1-person job. So anyway, Raymond Ital Lad, welcome in. How are you doing? Why am I saying this? It's just like, you know, sometimes you have to have patience, and, you know, be patient with whatever you're going on with. Keep believing that you're able to do anything you choose to do. You just gotta believe it. Evelyn Palick, welcome in. How are you? Like, all talks about faith, but in the same way, just like you always have to deal with the situations too. It's just like, oh my goodness, you don't need to repeat the same thing. You don't need to tell me and keep building the wheel of shit of stuff I already need to know, because like, again, maybe there's some people where, like, you have to constantly remind me, but, like, for me, I don't need to be reminded over and over and over. I don't. Because, like, it goes to a moot point where it's just like, okay, we're talking about the same thing. It's just like, I keep imagining this guy just beating the drum of the same thing over and over and over. And just like, it's like that point in that movie. Duncan, what's up, brother? My Isug 2's here. Welcome, my Isug 2. Hope you guys are doing well. Like, it's like, I'm doing well, brother. It feels good doing this podcast and the stuff I was doing today. Like, you know that movie, I mean, I'm old here. Groundhog Day, where the guy is going through the same day over and over and over. Like, even if he does the most wildest stuff one day, or something happens to him, it reverts back to the same day where he starts all over. So he basically tries to do different things. Like, you know, like, it's a situation where he's like, whatever he does, whether it's good or bad, he has to end up going back to the same day. And it's just like, you know, that reminds me of Groundhog Day, where someone keeps reminding me of the same thing over and over and over. It's like, holy goodness, here we go again, going through the same situation, going through the same day over and over and over. What happens next? And it's just like, for me, like, I don't need the reminders. Like, if I take ownership of something of what I did, and it may not be something that you don't understand, like, please give me the benefit of doubt. Like, seriously. Again, I'm human just like you. I have my own faults of things I need to handle and deal with. But at the end of the day, like, you don't need to remind me. You don't. Really don't. Because I get it the first time or second time, but when you need to reply, but when it gets to a point where it seems like you are doing it because of, I don't know, you just don't realize you're doing it as in, like, to get a reaction at me, or just like, I don't like it. But anyway, we're getting a little sidetracked. So going back to what I was doing today. So all of that today was essentially building up OBS. It was daunting as heck. Like, even I was talking to, shout out to Duncan, he has a great setup, what he has. And I was telling him, like, hey, why don't you go through OBS? And he has the same situation. It's a lot of stuff to go through to set it up. And I agree with you. It was a lot of shit to do. It took me, I think, to set up just TikTok, I think like 4 hours. Oh, no worries, brother. It took me about 4 hours just to set up, just to get the understanding of the initial setup. What did I need to do? Because obviously my difference here is, like, while everyone is using a PC, I'm using a Mac. So if you guys didn't know, there isn't a TikTok live app or a TikTok live studio for Mac yet. So this is one of the reasons why I want to use OBS, and obviously utilize something other than my phone and give me more flexibility to do shit. So this is why I use OBS. So going through it, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of stuff. And then, like, but what was helpful though is basically, Hope, welcome in. What was helpful though was basically, the step by step. Where it's like, okay, you gotta do this. Kevs Samoda's here. Welcome in, brother. Telling me, okay, because you have a Mac, you need to set this up. You have to set this up this certain way so that you're not using so many resources. Even though I have a 64 gig iMac, I had to set up a certain way to make sure it works, and then also to going step by step. Okay, this is how you set up your Pocket 3, because obviously, like I was saying before, I have a Pocket 3 because I was vlogging or making content before, doing cinematics and doing my daily authentic. I don't use it anymore, so now it turned out to be a webcam. It's a perfect webcam because I can do 4K 60. However, the strongest I'm only going is 1080 60 because of the fact of the limitations here in TikTok. Unless TikTok does 4K 60, I can do it over in YT, obviously 4K 60, but right now 1080p is works perfectly fine. I think it's going to be the value add essentially is a much better camera. Now, yes, I have an iPhone, my camera works better, but like how it looks on the Pocket 3, much better. Also too, directly connecting my mixer to my iMac. I need to recharge. Damn, not to worry, brother. Connecting my Ono 2, my Ono Monocaster 2 to my iMac. Had to figure out how to do that because I have a 2020 iMac. So I think in 2020 they started introducing USB-C, and I only have 2 ports. So one of the issues I did have, obviously, and I was thinking about because I had to go to the mall, and there was another reason I had to go to the mall as well. Because I only have 2 USB-C outputs. Duncan, thank you for the donut. Appreciate you. Yes, this 2020 iMac is a piece, brother. It's 64 gigs. Again, that's telling you the reason why I built this because of another reason, but it turned out to be, it worked out fine for this. So I have the processing power to do, heavy memory hogging stuff like with OBS or even with video editing. So this makes it more stable because, like, on my iMac, I only have 8 gigs, and the processing time. And then I'm very curious, like, even the processing time of exporting a video from my iMac versus what I had to do on my my MacBook. It's probably gonna be faster now. We'll see we'll see what happens with that. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Macs are I love Macs. And here's the reason why I like Macs, Kevs. I always had problems and concerns with this is back in the day. Obviously, you know, PCs are much better now, but I hated it when I had a PC when I was younger and it would just not last long. Now with Macs, I remember having a iMac before this. I had another iMac for this. I was running it for at least for 10 years strong. It was still working. It still did me to Duncan. I don't know how to use. It's easy. I think it's you'll realize it's the same shit, be honest with you. I mean, yes, the mouse is different because it's one finger, two taps, but it's the same shit. But I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, it's I looked at it as I'll be honest with you, like, the reason why I went to a Mac is because I was tired of shit of like, okay, I have to replace my Mac. And it was back then, like when I was all the way now, like 20 years ago. Like, and 20 years ago, like when PCs were horrible, like I remember having a laptop. I had a heavy laptop, and then it was a PC, and it wouldn't last long. And I hated that. Where it's just like I had to constantly buy shit. So like my mind, I was like, okay, like I want something that's durable. It's gonna last me longer than like 2 years. And that's when I ended up going to Mac. After 5 days. So I mean, to each his own, bro. Like, you know, I have to this day. I love Macs. Because I think it's just because like I was tired of shit where like, you know, things won't last long, and I wanted something where it just let it fucking work. And then ever since I went to Mac, like I would have durable shit. I'll be honest with you. And when I mean durable shit, like it would last 10 years. I had an iMac before this. It lasted for 13 years, and it was old as shit, but it still worked. but like. You know, I just got tired of it. And then, you know, it's funny I said that because like I do have relatives who are like they're pro PC, and they're like, why do you want to go PC? You just want to be part of the sheep. You know, they're taking your money from it, blah blah blah. But I mean, like, I think you know, I have those people. But at the end of the day, just like, again, number one, as in gaming, right? It'll make more sense. Okay, in gaming, it'll make more sense to run a PC. But because I don't play games on a PC, and I never tried playing games on a PC, this is kind of the reason why I went to a Mac. Is just because honestly, I wanted a Mac just works. Maybe do some editing. Maybe do simple shit that it doesn't take an arm and leg to figure out why is it running super slow. And then since then, and this is after college. This is when I made the transfer to go to a Mac. Like, it worked. It worked perfectly fine. And then, you know, obviously too, like playing games, Batan Laguna, welcome in. Playing games, I was a console player. So I never had interaction with a PC. Now, I know there's a shit ton of games now. For example, if I had a PC, then shit, I wish I had a PC. Like the best games, like Duncan, I don't know if you played it, or Kev, if you played it. One game I would want to play. Hey, Batan Laguna, how are you? Escape from Tarkov. I would want to play Escape for Tarkov because obviously it's on PC. That's a fucking expensive ass game, $250, I heard. But like, I can't play it on PC. I mean, I can't play it on console because I think there's so many like button commands you have to do on the keyboard to make shit work. But like, yeah, you know, there's give and take. I can't play that shit, and that's one of the games I want to play. But I mean, for the most part, it's just like looking at the long run of like the shit of like I've been experienced. Like, yeah, I'm a console player. I don't play games on my phone. Like, same thing. I don't play games on my phone, but apparently I have to play games for now. But for the most part, Macs will always work for me. And then I'll be talking to Chat GPT because, like, I mean, that was at one point I was thinking maybe I should buy a PC to make this shit work. But I'm like, fuck, dude, I don't want to pay. I'm not gonna pay money to buy another PC when I already have an iMac that was in storage waiting for me. Like, literally, this is basically essentially brand new. Can we play COD on a Mac? No, but I can play on a PS5. I don't even know if you have. I don't even know if you have this Call of Duty on a Mac. I don't know. That's a good question. But like, but hey, check it out though. I can play older games on ROMs. I've tried it on a Mac. So I can do that. But yeah, I mean, you know, like you know, old games like 16-bit Super Nintendo ROMs. I did that before, where all I needed was an Xbox controller and then use the emulator. Worked fine. And I was playing games for Super Nintendo and it worked perfectly fine. Now I think if obviously it was a certain ROM for like a PS4, I think there's a PS4 ROM now, right? So, or PS2 ROMs, it probably worked fine. But again, like, you know, for the games, obviously there's a lot of games, like obviously it makes more sense if I was like a PC gamer, if I start everything in PC, then yeah, I would have a PC. But like, I don't know, man, like I always had bad experiences where it's just like, fuck, like here goes my PC game, it's dying or it's making a weird noise. And you know, like I didn't know shit, and I did have friends where like they were telling me, oh, I'll build a PC for you, bro, like here you go, do this and that and this and that, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. But it's just like, for me, it's just like, it didn't make sense. And it's like, I'm a person where just like, if everything works fucking together, then it's gonna work fine. It's just the reason why, like, I have an iPhone, I have everything, MacBook, I have an Apple Watch, because it just makes my life easier. But now, you know, yeah, maybe one day down the road I'll have a PC, but just like, that's another thing too. I was never used to, like, you know, playing on a keyboard. It's still weird to me. I was like, how to do the control stuff and mouse. Megan, welcome in. How are you doing? But it's just like it's the same thing. It's just like the learning curve. It's the learning curve, like for example, like even learning curve to learn a Mac. Give me a second. Drink the water. Like, yes, honestly. Thanks for the perfume, Doug. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah. When I was transitioning to Mac, yes, there was. Yes, you can have the water, brother. Thank you for the friendship bracelets, brother. I appreciate you. Yeah, there was a learning curve because, like, you know, with a PC you have a mouse with two buttons, and then on the Mac you just have, you know, a block, and then you have all these commands like Arcadia Oblivious. To be honest with you, the commands are similar, they're just named differently. Like control control on the PC is basically command. I mean, there's alt is option. It's just worded differently. And it's just like how, you know, because you don't have a 2-finger mouse, it's just all hand strokes on your mouse to tell you to do certain things. So like, there's some learning curves, but I think, I'll be honest, like, if, for example, if you're not a PC player playing games, you probably like a Mac. And back then, I was telling you, like, man, the amount of consoles I had back then was, I started with Super Nintendo. They went to PS2. I didn't get a PS3, but I think I had a Nintendo 64. What else did I have? And then I eventually got a PS4, and then the PS5, and all the handhelds. But it's like, yeah, always been a console player. It's like, even with Call of Duty, I bet you Call of Duty is probably much better on PC, 100%. And I can tell you this, a lot more games are actually better on PC, because if you're individual, like, let's say, for example, it'll make more sense, for example, if you are a video game streamer. If you're playing off your PC, because of the reason why the graphics are probably, you can optimize the graphics to be even better than what they are, right? Maybe there are also some people who are like, I don't give a fuck about what the quality looks like, as long as it looks good on my phone, then that's perfectly fine, right? But, like, you know, that's where it would make more sense. Like, if you had like, for example, for my brother Duncan, he plays lots of games, right? Obviously, like, he wants the best shit where he's playing the games, the best quality of the best quality of shit when you're playing the game, so you can actually see what the hell you're doing. Like, even for me, where I have to wear glasses right now, like, it's a bitch if shit is blurry. It's like, it's hilarious too, because I actually have an issue too, where, like, if I have eye strain so much, like, it starts getting blurry, even with my glasses. I knew it. Duncan is your brother. Like, even if I wear glasses and I have eye strain, it gets blurry still. Apparently, I have to get a different set of glasses that will work for that, but the price of it is steep. So I have to contemplate, okay, am I just going to have glasses for just playing video games? Which it could probably make sense. But I mean, like, again, if you're a consistent streamer where you're playing, for example, like heavy games, like let's say, for example, that look, you want the quality to look good, then yeah, it'll make sense to get a PC. And like obviously with the way you start as well, right? If you always started with like playing on the PC, then it makes more sense to stay on the PC. It's just my upbringing was console. So yeah, that is the journey of me and on the Mac, is because of the fact that back in college, I was tired of shit of dealing with situations where, okay, my laptop is dying. Why is my laptop dying? What the fuck? Like, why is it doing underperforming? And then one day I saw a person on the Mac, and they're like, it was like, so fast and seamless. Didn't have any issues. And then I myself bought a MacBook, and I was like, holy goodness, this is night and day different. Oh my goodness, like I don't have to worry about all this shit anymore. It's how it's slowing down. Granted, yes, I think I went through a lot of Macs back in my day. Let's see. First, I had my first MacBook. It was just a regular Mac. I got through college, and then I ended up upgrading to a MacBook Pro. It was okay. It was decent. I think I ended up selling it because this is back then where I just like I would just upgrade shit easily. I ended up going to an iMac. So I sold my my first MacBook, my MacBook Pro. I went to my iMac, what I had, and it lasted for 10 years. It worked like a champ. I didn't have to do anything. And this is the same thing where just like, okay, I didn't have to worry about shit. And it still worked. And then after 10 years and 9 years, like, okay, so 2020 is when I got this iMac. Why MacBook, not same iPhone? Well, let's talk about, at one point I was buying every single damn iPhone, but it was just like, it came to a point where it's just like, holy shit, it's the same shit. Like even this iPhone, I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max. What's the point of upgrading it? Now it'll make more sense if I get a 17, but like, I don't really need it. And also too, like, okay, well, also too, like, the direction I'm going right now, as in going live, I don't really need this. For the long term, I'm not going to use my phone unless I'm going to a random remote location where I need my phone. I'll have my iMac. So I think it was 2010 or 2013. Yeah, 2010 or something before 2010. That's when I got the iMac. It was a dream. It lasted for 10 to 15 years. And then mind you too, yes, iPhone. I had what did I have? I had the iPhone 3, 4, 5. I think I had 7, 8. I had the iPhone 10, 11, and 13. So yeah, I think after the iPhone 13 Pro Max, I just stopped. They're all from Apple. Absolutely. I fucking stopped because I realized when I got older, I was like, what the fuck is the point of buying all these Apple phones? They're all the same. Even though when they can, here's the Apple, when they call it I have the Apple 20. It's just like, here's the Apple 14 Pro Max XXL. And I looked at it, it's like the same damn phone. And it's just like, okay, like, what's the point of me buying this shit? It's just like, okay, forget it. Then there's like the age part, right? And believe me, you all seen it, where it's just like you see people lining up in lines to the Apple store. And then it's just like, okay, why the fuck are you getting with the same shit? Yes, Kaz, I see what you're saying too, because there's a lot of people who are just like, I have a lot of Android friends who are just like, bro, they're introducing this shit that was on the iPhone, and we already had it for the past 5 years. I know. but like, yeah. So like, I mean, I get that story. That's why I stopped. I stopped buying. After the 13 Pro Max, I had an iPhone 5 into the 16 Pro Max. I bet you it worked well, huh? But yeah, I stopped. And then like, okay, so I had a iMac for how long? It was like 10 years. And then I bought the the new iMac I have right now, the 2020 iMac, which is the last Intel chipset iMac before they went to the silicon ones, like the M1, M2. And this is where it has the opportunity where, like, with these iMacs, you can upgrade the RAM. So when I bought it, and this is when 2020, and this is where, like, for example, I think, no, I bought this in 2021. It was just a 2020 version. Because, like, I think the cycle time of, like, when they would make the new version of the iMac, it was towards the end of the year. So I had this available. So I did buy it in 2021. The reason why I had it I know it was 2021, because if you were in 2021, the hype of can we make pineapple 9? Jeez. Like the hype of 2021, where it was the hype of crypto. You know, this is the reason why I bought the iMac, is because I'm using a 16 Pro Max and now the battery gets low. Because the battery, that's one of the stuff you have to deal with. Like I remember, it will charge fine, but if you constantly charge it now, it takes forever. I want to get a 17, but I don't want to get it. But yeah, because of crypto, this is why I bought it. And the intention of, like, when I was building the specs out of this, I was thinking, okay, let me upgrade this to make it a monster. As in terms of an iMac. Yes, you can make PCs that be a monster. I know that, but in terms of iMac, this wasn't the i7, but this was the i5. So it was the last chipset before with the silicon. I was able to upgrade. I did it myself. I upgraded the RAM from I think when I first bought it, it came with 16 gigs of RAM, but it was expandable. In the back of my iMac, there's a compartment where you can open it up, and then you can obviously change the chips, the RAM set, the RAM cards, the RAM chips. So what I have now, because it used to be 4 sets of 4 gigs, what made 16 gigs. This is fresh from the factory. I made 64 gigs. At one point I was thinking about, shit, can I make this 128 gigs of RAM? And I was thinking in my head, I was like, dude, that's so much fucking RAM. And I remember going, yeah, it was back then, it was fucking expensive. I think this setup was almost $3,000. I think PCs you can make probably cheaper. If I can make a dope PC for $3,000. But this one was it was near $3,000. An i7, the much stronger Intel processor iMac, I think it's near above $3,000. When I bought it, this was about $3,000. And then when I upgraded, and I went to attention where it's like, oh, I'm gonna upgrade the RAM myself. So it's just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna get the 16 gig chipset RAM. So I think the RAM chips I got were, back then, it was, how much was it? I think it was like $200 for 2 16 gig chips, RAM chips. And I actually have 4, so it's right here, 64 gigs, right? So it was a lot of money back then. But I mean, like, shit, for having it run and then again, the tensions of what I had it before, right? It was because back then, when the hype of crypto, you want to catch all your investments. And I remember back then I had this is how I got into what's that app called? TradingView. I got into trade. If you don't know what TradingView is basically, if you're into charts, if you want to see your investments move around, and you can also do this for stocks. I use TradingView. Basically, back then I would have a huge extended monitor with my iMac, and then lay out my investments, the charts. So back then, that's the reason why I built it this way. We're just like, okay, I was thinking about, okay, well, let me expand the RAM so I can do more shit with this. At one point I was thinking of doing 128 gigs of RAM, and then I was going back and forth on Reddit. I was like, does it make sense to do it? I was like, is it a huge difference if you put 128 gigs of RAM versus 64 gigs? And then, obviously, like, the feedback I got, and by the way, I always researched, like, okay, is it worth upgrading these to 4 sets of 32 or just 4 sets of 16 gig RAM? And it said it didn't make a fucking difference. I remember there was a video I watched. It was like they did a bench test of 128 gigs of RAM versus 64 gigs of RAM, and it did the same shit. It was literally like talking about seconds of processing. Like, again, I was going into the mind of, like, I'm not doing heavy editing. I was planning to do editing, and again, long term, yeah, I was planning to do editing, but I don't think it was gonna be like heavy editing. So like after watching all those videos, I was like, yeah, 64 gigs makes sense. So I was like, okay, cool. I ended up doing that, and then from the time it came, we're just like, okay, obviously I have my iMac, it was powerful, blah blah blah. Yeah, 64 is enough. But yeah, it's funny though, because you watch those, you go to those like the Reddit pages, or you go like research, if you're like, bro, man, 120 gigs of RAM, man, you can do all this stuff and blah 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 blah, like heavy architecture stuff, and then look at me like, dude, I'm just trying to look at charts. and then and then and then just make sure my stuff ran. And I honestly, like, even when I had like Trading View with my all my individual investments, I literally had like 5 charts open on my separate extended monitor. Like, the amount of memory I was eating, that was been utilized on my iMac, literally, it was only 30 gigs, and I still had the other 30 that has been unutilized. Even right now, I think I'm looking at, I can look at my, hold on, let me look at my, what's been utilized for RAM right now. Yeah, physical memory 64 gigs, memory used right now 30 for what I'm doing right now. For the 2 monitors, all the shit I have open, I'm using half of it. So right now, my iMac is not even struggling at all. It's working how it should be. But I remember, I swear, going through those, like, you know, for example, going through those sites are like, yeah, man, 128 gigs, man, you can do all this stuff and blah 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 blah. And then watch the videos, like, yeah, 64 gigs to 128 gigs doesn't mean shit. It does the same thing. So I was just like, okay, we'll do 64 gigs. And then, you know, by the time it came to a point where it's like, okay, I loved what I had in my iMac, and then it came to a point where it's like, I'm gonna be traveling places and whatnot, then that's where I bought my MacBook. Obviously I can't bring my iMac around, so I ended up buying a MacBook because I was traveling. This is around the time when I got laid off as well. So like, I was going visiting my cousin, going to places, and having a MacBook is doable, right? And then when I purchased it, I had the opportunity to say, okay, should I get the 16 gig MacBook Pro? I have a MacBook Pro, by the way. And I was talking to the Apple person who was just like, okay, well, what do you plan to use it right now? You can get the 8 gig one and then 16 gig. And I was like, well, I might do lightweight editing. And again, what I'm doing now is lightweight editing, right? There's like, okay, then just get the 8 gig. Even though this is a faster processor and it works well, but like, man, when you run out of space, and also too, storage wise, my iMac is 1 terabyte. On my MacBook is 256 gigs. So at this point, like, even when like I was editing on my MacBook, I would run out of space because of, like, you know, these authentic podcasts on average are like 20 to 25 gigs of space. So honestly, when you keep on doing the updates and you leave on your file, like, it's not enough. It's not enough at all. So like, that was one of the issues where it's just like, okay, well, it's good to have, and also to have a stick where they had a 1 terabyte stick as well, to help supplement the MacBook, because I was gonna run into situations. Also too, like, at that point in time, I wasn't thinking I was gonna be heavy editing. And then, you know, things happen, things change. And then now, recently, even though I had to do an update, I had to do a OS update on, damn, your PC's 5 terabytes. But it makes sense though. You play a lot of games. I mean, shit, on how much are big games now? Like, even like on my PS5, what is it? Like, I downloaded Black Ops 7. I think it was like almost 200 gigs. Chinkai, welcome in. How are you doing? It was 200 gigs of memory for that game. So yeah, it makes more sense to have more. So like, now, when I was running into situations, like, even when I was talking about like running OBS on my MacBook, nah, it couldn't handle it. I remember I was redlining a lot, like literally like at 7 gigs and the max is 8. I was redlining, and you can see it struggle too, where like, even when I was like doing heavy video editing at that one point, when I was doing like the daily authentic, honestly, like, I remember there was times where, for example, like, shit, like, you can see my MacBook struggling, where things stop moving, or it starts being jittery and whatnot. But like, yeah, obviously I've had to put something aside. This is why, like, you know, for example, again, the idea of going and utilizing OBS, there was always an idea to use it, but I just didn't have the resources for it. And this is why I kind of stopped. And also too, I mentioned before, like, you know, where I was in the province, like, shoot, our internet kind of sucked. So, and I was on Wi-Fi, and it probably doesn't make sense, like, if you're gonna go live and do like memory hungry stuff where you need consistent internet, it's probably not gonna be a good idea to do that. You're probably not gonna be successful in this. That's why I stopped. So one thing I wish though, One thing I wish though is I brought my iMac here the first time, but again, it didn't make sense to me at that point because it didn't make sense for me to bring it because of the fact that like the initial plan was to be 50 here, 50 in the United States. Until we realized like shit, you have to be here 100% to just do the things we wanted to do. So while I was here in the Philippines for the first 2 years, honestly, and this iMac was just in my storage for 2 years. It's basically almost 2 years. Like I've been here in the Philippines now for March 2024, and 2026 is just like a month away now. Almost 2 years. But like at that point in time, even how my province, where I was living in the province house, it wouldn't have been feasible to bring my iMac, and like where would I put it? And where would I? And mind you too, if you even looked at my broadcast before, my lives before, I was on a small mini desk. So it didn't really, I wouldn't have any space. Even with this iMac, where the heck would I put my iMac on? Even though I had a bigger room, like it didn't make sense. And then obviously like with this stuff, I can't just lug it around, and it's freaking expensive. It's freaking huge. This is a 27-inch iMac. So it made sense just to bring my MacBook. My MacBook did what it's supposed to do. But again, doing the heavy stuff, to be honest with you, like obviously like when it turned out to be, okay, I want to be a podcaster, or want to do some edits, or want to do this and this and that, or do the certain things I want to do, like, yeah, I'm just happy to have my iMac now. Again, like now it enables me, and this, like, for example, this is the second day back with my iMac. I had to update it to the newest OS. It was a Tahoe, and it's also did it for my M2 MacBook. So yeah, that M2 MacBook, it runs fast. It's just like OBS good. OBS is good. What I'm waiting for is TikTok. It's weird because like I can do it another way, which is through Restream.io, but ChatGPT's saying that there's something in TikTok where you can apply for, and they can give you the I need the stream key and the link. Once I have the stream key and the link, then I can just put in OBS, and then it should work fine. And I had to go through, and there's something I have right now I have a support ticket open with TikTok. Hopefully they just give it to me. Your girl Christine's here. Make sure you listen to her at 90.1 DYSR 91.1 in Dumaguete City. Hi Christine, how are you? Thank you for the heart. We appreciate you. Like for stuff like that, like, which is like, I'm waiting for that, and hopefully I don't get no issues with that, because all I need is a stream key and the RTM. Oh my gosh, the link that is accesses my account on TikTok and the server. Once I'm doing good, Christine, how are you? It's been busy month. Now it's kind of winding down, and it's like a different busy now. So we're at least now I have more time to do stuff like this. I have more time to do the podcasts. Yeah, it's your account. Yep. So I'm just trying to now set up basically the future of all this stuff, like where I'm going to lead to. So that I'm waiting on. For YT, I actually did it today, where I was going to try to get the credentials from the same concept, where you just need to get the stream key, and you need to get the link to make it work. I think in YT it just said, oh, wait 24. I pressed it to go live, and then it just says come back 24 hours. So hopefully tomorrow, no problems. More than likely we'll do a test stream first on YT, it seems like, because depending on how fast I can get it from TikTok, it seems as if I can probably go live on YT to see, for example, how it looks. Because obviously, like, the difference is the challenges of not, I don't know if it's a necessary challenge. It's just, it'll be like, for example, TikTok, going live on OBS with TikTok, the stuff you will have probably a little bit challenged with is essentially this. You don't see, thank you, Christine, for the tapping. I appreciate you. What you don't see is basically your chat. You don't see the animations for GIFs. You don't get any notifications. I think there's ways to do notifications, but like in terms of how it's done on TikTok now, on obviously I saw on yours and Duncan, but I think yours is because you have TikTok Live Studio. I don't know how it would do it for the GIFs here. But anyway, like, I mean, that's one of the questions I was asking about to ChatGPT. It's like, okay, well, how do I see my chat? How do I see this and that? So I'll probably have my phone. Yes, I do have an alternate account where I can just look at my live and just go off of that and who's giving me stuff like that. I don't think anything changes. Your live is, oh shoot, we're on live search. Look at that. We're on live search right now. We're being displayed on holy goodness, we got 2 fragments too. We are on freaking live. Thank for the 10. Oh, we have 11,000 likes. Hello. Wow, we're on the search screen right now. Check that out. Everyone, welcome in. My name is Joe Lobo. Welcome to my podcast. By the way, we're also live and available on Spotify. We're also available on Apple Podcasts. We are also on YT as well. Mommy Shar, we are on the search screen right now. What's up, Mommy Shar? How are you doing? So I welcome everyone in. We're top 99. Collect titles routine. Oh, it's midnight. So make sure you get your refill, guys. So that's wild. We are on the search screen right now. We're being displayed on search right now. That's freaking wild. But anyway, welcome in everyone. Again, my name is Joe Lobo. This is the Authentic Podcast. Thanks for always supporting Kai Misa. Of course, I'm Ramon. She's a friend of mine. I welcome. What's the search screen? You know the main in FYP. Like if you go into search on live, I show up first. So that means more people will come in. And I got 2 fragments from that. That's fucking amazing. So welcome everyone in. My name is Joe Lobo from The Authentic. This is my podcast, The Authentic Podcast. We're also available on Spotify. We're also available on Apple Podcasts. We're doing something big. We are also available on YT. We're working on some shit to make this happen where we both live stream here and there. We've been working on that. So basically, that's fucking amazing. That's a highlight today. We're on the search. Look at that. Good shit. Congratulations to everyone. But anyway, like, that's why I've been working on just setting up the future. I tell people like this, even if you're going for goals. Again, all the stuff I tell you all, honestly, this is for you. This is for the people, the dreamers, the individuals who feel like they feel like they don't have an option to do shit. And I'm just telling you, you have options. You have opportunities to do shit. It's a matter of you to figure out how to do it. As me as a podcaster, right? I'm on fucking search. That's fucking amazing. As me as a podcaster, right? It makes a lot of sense to go in different places and to be in different hats. Yes, on TikTok, I'm one of the many few who are podcasters like this. I'll be honest with you. Like, if you look at other people here on TikTok, the way they podcast are probably different people. They'll probably be very structured in the stuff they want to do, essentially, or even in the sense where they have structured topics of what they're going to talk about. For me, I don't. I come in here with maybe a slightest idea of what I'm going to talk about, but to be real with you, this is basically all ad lib. So for the people who are from the Philippines trying to understand what ad lib is, I'm making all this up while we're talking. There's nothing that tells me, there's nothing I'm following here to tell you what I'm going to say, how I'm going to act, what I'm going to do. This is off the bat. This is 100% off the bat. Like, so this is where like the difference of me as an individual, we're just like, okay, well, this is what situates me from like, you know, me as a podcaster here in TikTok to other podcasters here. And we're, you know, yes, the other people I collaborate with who are, you know, for example, podcasters as well, who want to collab with me and they have shit. They have 100 people viewing them. And then you look at me and then I have like 5 or 4. Granted, yes, that will tell you a lot of like, you know, for example, how many people are actually watching you and everything. But like, I think for the most part, you have to count the folks who are watching you in FYP. Like right now, the folks who are looking at me in search right now and saying, who the fuck is Joe Lobo? Well, guess what? My name is Joe Lobo. I'm available on other platforms too. I'm available on YT. I'm available on Apple Podcasts. I'm available on Spotify. And we'll be going, and I tell you, watch in a couple weeks when we figure this shit out, we're gonna be live in different places. Not only for the Authentic Podcast, but we're gonna be doing streaming with games on my PS5. I have to build it together. I gotta tell you that story about the PS5. But I mean, like, yeah, you gotta put yourself in a position where you're in different pots, if your dream is to be, I don't know, if your dream is to be a baker, right? If your dream is to become a baker, you can't just stick to one bread. You know what I mean? You got to make different kinds of desserts. You got to make different kinds of, if you make donuts, for example, right? You can't just make old-fashioned donuts. You have to make many variations of donuts. You have to have a variety. It's the same thing with my podcast, everyone, right? Like, you have to put you in different places because you don't know, like, on TikTok, it may seem like I'm unsuccessful on TikTok because of the fact of like, oh, wow, there's only 5 people here watching me. Boop-de-doo, go somewhere else. But shit, on the other platforms, I'm doing pretty well. I initially thought Spotify was doing great. Like, I am doing great, honestly, there. Like, I love what I have over there. Like, we're just like, you know, as long as I've been there since July. I think, was it July? End of July. Excuse me, some water. Like, in end of July to now, I amassed what? Shit. I amassed about under 300 views. That's remarkable, right? I have a following of 30 people on my Spotify account. Now, the requirements to get monetized on Spotify is different. You have to have, I think you have to have like a lot of viewing hours, a lot of subscriptions. But I mean, it's good. Shit. Who wouldn't be happy with 30 subscriptions on Spotify? That's fucking amazing. Just to be on a platform like that, with people who are very popular as you, right? It's amazing. But here's the thing, what helped me, and I talked to one of my mutual friends on here, oh my goodness, RSS did so much for me. RSS did so much for me. When I had RSS, when I enabled RSS from Spotify to be dropped in other places, it opened up another gate. You know what gate it actually opened up Apple Podcasts. Now here's for Apple Podcasts where I feel like my audience right now. It is I think we've only been an Apple Podcast for almost near a month now. We're already outpacing what we did in Spotify. So on average, like for example, like in Spotify, it's very diverse of the who's watching what, and I think the biggest episode that had the most views was about like 20 views on Apple Podcasts. Oh my goodness, I'm having ones where like it's about like almost 80 views on one episode. Again, like and people might just saying, Joe, like it's only 80 views, but bro, that's a lot. For me, that's fucking a lot. Like, even though like I'm a small fish in a big ass pond, like even in Spotify, I'm a small fish in a big ass pond. Like shit, 80 views is a fucking lot. And even too, the amount of subscribers I've got on Apple Podcasts has grown very fast. One, all right, welcome in. How are you doing? Like, I'm at 25. I think I'm at 25 subscribers over there. So this is where, like, for example, in minds of, well, we're gonna try it this way. We're in terms of the universe. When you're telling the universe, this is where I want to be. This is what I plan to be. I envision it to be like this way. The universe is going to point you in different directions of like what could potentially work for you. Now, why I'm saying this is because of the fact that this ties into like when you're manifesting certain things and what you see yourself you're going to be to. Don't be too fixated on the house. And what I mean by the house is like how it's going to be, how it's going to look like, how it's going to blah, blah, blah. Because at the end of the day, like if you think of how we're going to do this, you're just limiting whether, to each his own, agree to disagree. But for the universe or God or whatever you want to label it, like if you give it too many pathways of how, how specific you want it to be, sometimes it takes fucking longer because you are narrowing your research down to be very finite. And it might take super long to figure out, okay, how do I even get there, right? When in terms of law of attraction manifestation, when you just surrender and you let it go and just like, I'm not going to worry about how it's going to get there. You're going to find the way and solution. This is what I'm thinking about with Apple Podcasts, where I was amazed with the numbers and I was like, holy shit, I never thought of Apple Podcasts being there, but like, fuck, out the most successful things, and then it's like it's gonna be do really well for me right now. Right now is Apple Podcast. So essentially, like, I'm gonna put more emphasis on that, and that leads to the changing of certain things. Obviously, I still have to fill out the contract. We'll have to fill out the contract, and that's the monetization part where I offer, for subscriptions. And this is where like it'll change around how I upload podcasts, where obviously I will prioritize Apple more because of the fact of like giving them like the first look of it, of the first preview of the upload I do if you're not here on TikTok or on YT. But interesting person, welcome in. I'm not gonna say your name, I just saw that. Nish, please give me hard me. I always give you hard me. Why don't you ever give me hard me? What's up, Nish? How are you? Oh, here you go. Thank you, Nish. I appreciate you. Thank you for doing that. Hold on. There you go. So yeah, so like for example, like I'm gonna change things around and probably do more specific stuff to accommodate for Apple Podcasts. Probably do specific stuff, specific podcasts, essentially for not just for this, but also ones that are maybe shorter, like a 1 hour episode, particularly just for Apple Podcasts, because that's gonna be subscription based. Now, that's where it's gonna change. Now, when involving going back to YT, now there's dual purpose YT. I mentioned that again. This is why we're using OBS. Is yes, we're gonna go dual stream here and TikTok. I mean, here on TikTok and YT. So not only that, we're probably gonna post we're probably gonna post videos there as well. So with YT, for example, like it's the same thing. Obviously, like the more you put emphasis on YT. I remember, like, dude, like even on YT, like I was happy with my old account. And here's the reason why I made a brand new account, because I freaking lost the password and I lost the email address. So you'll see my content. If you ever find Joe Lobster Roll's World, my old account, you probably can find it. But basically, can't access it anymore. But what I'm trying to get to is like, for YT, as long as you do your keywords right, aka your SEO correctly, to how people are gonna find you, how are they gonna align you to certain shit, eventually, naturally, your YouTube's gonna grow. I was excited at one point where I was like, shit, one of my shorts, and this is where like back then, my YT was more YouTube Shorts, position. I wasn't making long form videos, I was doing short form. So most of my stuff was just, quick 1 minute videos or 1 minute, depending what it was. It'll be within shorts. Now it's different. But the ideas of what I'm planning to do with this is obviously what I mentioned before is I'm planning to live stream there and post content. So that's where like I think eventually at some point it'll probably accelerate as well with Apple Podcasts. And this is where it goes back, taking a step back again, where you gotta put yourself in many hats. You gotta put yourself in many positions where you're gonna succeed if you want to. If you are even if for example you are a singer. now here in TikTok is probably valuable if you're a singer because of the fact of I think singers do well here, but however, you gotta think bigger. And this is why I always tell everyone here, you don't just think. If your dream is like, for example, and I say this again, if your passion is to become a live streamer or be a content creator, you gotta put yourself in different buckets. You 100% have to do. You 100% have to. You cannot rely on putting yourself in just one bucket and just say this is the cash cow. Granted, here on TikTok, the stuff I seen from individuals where like they can, Tita, welcome back. They can do the same thing over and over and over and get compensated heavy for just the simple stuff that they're doing. Like it's amazing. And again, like to each his own. If that is essentially, doing well for you, then shoot. You don't have to listen to me. Balsar, welcome in. How are you doing? I'm in search, Balsar. Woo! I think I'm on top of search. I don't know if I'm still there, but I got a notification I was on top of search. But here we go. We're back in. Yeah. if you are here in like TikTok and whatever you're doing right now, because I know there's a lot of I have friends where, you know, for example, or people I've met where like the things they're doing, it works fine. You probably don't need to change anything up if you're getting if you're getting basically the attention you're getting. You know what I mean? So if that's what you want to be, and let's say if you're positioned just for that, if you're positioned just for this, for money, then keep doing that. If that's your content. Like sometimes even with like, you know, granted, like I've even like my friends who are doing the Live Fest. Like at the end of the day, like even with Live Fest, I never thought I was gonna be that top one. That like my friend, my Esau girl, I knew she had a better chance than I did because of the fact of her following, one, and two, like I think she would be more successful at it. But for me, like no, I know I wouldn't be able to get that far with the Live Fest. And I even see like with friends where just like, you know, I see how like my friends are doing it and they're just like, okay. And then when it goes back to again, and that's perfectly fine. Like if that's what you want to do, then shit, keep doing that. But if your dream is to be like, for example, what I tell everyone, we're just like, okay, you want to be in that position where you're billions watched, people know your name, you are like a hand, like, you know, like you're like, for example, me as a podcast, if you want to be like Joe Rogan, right? You want to be like Joe Rogan, you can't just be on one platform. You gotta be on many platforms to make this shit work. So that's what I did. Or as me as a podcast, what I vision and put in my mind and what I have the firm belief in, like how I know this is gonna be successful. Shouts out to even a lot of people, including Mommy Shar, to validate this. To say, Joe, this is gonna be something big. Like, I can see it, I can feel it, I can sense it that this is gonna be big. But this is why I tell everyone here and that I mean TikTok, I tell my circle, authentic circle in the beginning, like, what do you do if this shit disappears? Not saying this app is going to disappear, but that one day, you don't know. And with this one day, like TikTok just goes offline, and you made a huge following here on TikTok, where it's just like, okay, I have all these things I'm getting compensated heavily for the stuff I do, and then one day, TikTok is gone. What do you do? Maybe at that point, hopefully you're good with your money. Maybe you made something out of it where it's just like, TikTok is, I don't need it to survive. But at the end of the day, we're just like, okay, well, fuck. If you come to a position where it's just like, okay, well, you know, I need to get, and like, you know, that situation was like, I didn't prepare, like, oh, I lost all my friends and da-da-da-da. Like, what do you do? And this is why I just encourage everyone, encourage you, like, look for other options. Look at other positions where you can be even more successful or even more of a brand name. Like branding yourself. This is for me. Joe Lobo presents, or Joe Lobo is the brand. The Authentic Podcast is part of the brand Joe Lobo. So like at the end of the day, we're just like, I always talk about, and I say it again, for the brand new people who are listening to me because I'm in search and are coming in and trying to figure out in FY, who the fuck is this guy? My name is Joe Lobo. Yes, sometimes I play video. You probably see my content. Yes, I play video games sometimes. I'm trying to update to. I have my PS5 here, but I can't play it. But my main gig here is the podcast. My podcast is the Authentic Podcast. And I mentioned this again. I am available on Spotify. I'm available on Apple Podcasts. Also available on YT. So I'm in many hats. So this is where, like, you know, I'm not too worried of again, here in TikTok, I met a lot of friends. I'm actually grateful for it. But like, I look in the eyes of like, okay, my huge following, even my friend, my Esau girl's like, hey, I'm going to get you this high. Watch me. Because I owe it. I mentioned to you, I was going to get you here. Even if I get to that pinnacle, even if I get to that goal, you know, I'll tell you guys, the lofty goal. And I think I was joking. I don't know if I was joking or serious. Or she said it. She said, Joe, I'm going to get you the 50K followers. And I was like, okay, sure. And then, but I did tell her though, I was like, okay, if I get the 50K followers, because, you know, obviously, like I think it's after 10,000, I think you start getting monetized for stuff. I told her, okay, if you get me to 50k followers, hold on, let me change the room real quick. If you get me to 50k followers, I will give you a lion. So 50k followers to, you know, to getting one lion, I think at that point it'll be perfectly fine, because, like, you know, I think if you get to a point where you have 50k followers, honestly, hold on. Did the service go down? I think the translating service went down. Sorry, guys. Let me... Hold on. Oh, no, we're up. Let me get this... Let me get my Filipino friends. Hold on. JCZHE. Hold on. Boom. Okay, we're back. So give it a second. It's gonna load up again. But, like, you know, like, the vision and plan I have and stuff, just like, I always give it up to TikTok, because it's, you know, here in the Philippines, it's done many things. I have met a lot of people and friends, and it's got me to a point to even do my content creation gig. But when you get to a point where you feel like you are, you know, you have this unique talent, or you have this unique passion where you feel like you can, by your voice, inspire many people to do amazing shit, literally amazing stuff together. This has essentially been the stepping stone to other shit. 100%. And this is why I tell you all, it's just like, you know, if you realize and been here with me on this journey as a podcaster, I always say the same stuff over and over and over. But however, it goes back to the same thing. You got to empower yourself to believe that you can do this yourself. Like, allow me to be an example where it's just like, shoot, I came from an individual who took the risk to go to the Philippines with my parents, getting out of the comfortability. Shit, we're still uncomfortable right now because we still need to figure out how to make this sustainable. Some people believe, like, even this thing I'm doing right now as a podcast, I'll be honest, I have people who support me in what I'm doing, but believing in what I'm doing, two different things. So a lot of people, and it's crazy too. Like, I remember my brother was telling me when they went, because he was in the United States when they had Thanksgiving, and usually in the United States, it's a big, my aunt has the big family gathering of all my cousins there in the United States, and they're asking, well, how's Joseph been? Blah blah blah. Joseph's my family name, but you know me as Joe. They're like, how's your brother? Blah blah blah. And they're thinking my brother's telling, oh, the podcast, blah blah blah. The first thing that came out their mind, oh, is he making money? I'm gonna be 100% with you. Unless you are in a position where you are now, where that's not a big deal, because the way you do certain things is allowing you to you know, get all the funding you can get, I guess you can say. Like, it's probably not usually a good idea to be chase the money first. You know what I mean? I'm always a firm believer, and this is 100%, is like, sometimes chasing the money, yes, you may get the money if you chase it. However, are you going to be happy? There's a lot of people, and I tell you all these stories, right? Like, where, like, people chase the money for this profession. They do have certain profession to chase the money, and now you can afford all the shit you want in your life, especially this is very apparent in the United States. For the folks who come, you know, for example, the Philippines and go to the United States, they come to a position because of the fact of the Philippines. That's different. When you come from the United States to go to the Philippines, you come from the Philippines to go to the United States, yes, the experience is different. Now you have more outlets to do the things you never thought you can do. However, doing it because for the money, or doing it because of the passion of you doing it, in the long run, like, who do you think's gonna be happy? Yes, you can have a shit ton of money, you can have all the things, all the cars, all the stuff, but like, is that really, do you think honestly yourself, do you think about it, just realize it yourself, like, you think that person's really happy? Yes, money can give you happiness to extent. However, it opens a lot of doors. Money opens a lot of doors for you. Don't get me wrong. But like, long-term happiness? No. Long-term happiness usually comes, in my opinion, to each his own. Agree to disagree with me. I can give two fucks either believe in me or not. Going with your passion gives you more rewards in the long run. So like, you know, when people were asking when people were giving the reception to my brother, like, oh, what's your brother doing now? Oh, you podcast? Is he making money? Like, fuck, man. Like, I get it. Like, I understand. Like, you know, for example, like, yeah, people will automatically think, oh, like, you're doing this for money. But honestly, no. I told you, and I even told you all, like, this is my brand, Joe Lobo, the Authentic Podcast. I told you from the beginning, I'm not doing this shit for money. I'm doing this because of you. It's not about me. It's about you. How do you take this information I'm telling fucking you right now? Like, how is it going to impact you the next day when you get out of this podcast and you're listening to me to on the other platforms I'm on, and you're taking a step back to understand what the fuck is Joe talking about today? Like, how does it impact you in your daily life? I'd rather be in the position where I'm impacting you on decisions where just like, should I take this risk that can pay dividends down the road, or stay safe and live in fear of your fucking life and never do shit? It's perfectly fine to be comfortable and not do shit, and you want to be playing in the safe zone. That's perfectly fine. However, the most amazing shit is always going to be beyond fear when you take the fucking risk. So when I take on, like, you know, for example, a passion project like this, where I'm inspiring you, and many people don't fucking understand, like, even when I do these podcasts, right? Like even the intention of this platform, people don't understand it. Yes. You know, obviously the level person I am says a lot about me, but I think for the most part, it gets to a point in time where it's just like, fuck, man, is it sustainable enough to do all the stuff you're doing? No. So that's why, like, you know, before, like, yeah, I used to be a heavy gifter. Now I only gift for certain events. But however, there are individuals who read the bad stories about what happens and what happens with certain people, what they fucking spend, and they don't listen to, and they're still stuck on that same shit. We're just like, fuck. And they miss the whole point of it. And they're just like, whatever. And it's even for the situations where just like, okay, well, this is probably why you are not available to look at my shit on TikTok, because you don't understand it. And you don't want to understand it. You rather listen to other individuals understand it. So fuck. To each his own. But at the end of the day, like, you know, when it comes to why I do this stuff, I do for people like you. I do for individuals who like are in your day job, like working so damn hard, but you have this fucking unique talent that you can do some amazing shit. And by the way, if you're hearing me for the first time, I appreciate you giving me a follow here on TikTok. Appreciate you giving me a follow. I do have amazing content. I have podcasts every night. So if you want to catch me live here on TikTok, please give me a follow. Also set up your notifications when I do go live. But however, I'm on other platforms as well. I'm also on Apple Podcasts. If you would love to listen to podcasts, this is what we're in right now. This is Authentic Podcast. Joe Lobo presents the Authentic Podcast. You can listen to me on Spotify. You can listen to me on Apple Podcasts. Actually, on my TikTok profile right now, you can go and see the link to Apple Podcasts. Also, in my profile, you see I am on YT. So you can look at blah, blah, blah. At Joe Lobo Presents is my YT handle. You can check me out there. But I appreciate you here. Like, for example, I appreciate the folks who tapped my screen to 21K when you got to search. Fucking amazing. I appreciate you giving me a follow. I appreciate you giving me a heart me. Thank you so much. Again, I don't do this for money. And honestly, I at the point where I am at life, if you are positioning yourself to chase the fucking money, well, shit, good fucking luck. Yes, you can be, again, there can be some moments in your life where you're chasing money and you make money. Achi, welcome in. How you doing? This is my gig. I podcast and inspire people like you to think fucking bigger. Hope you're doing well, Achi. Thank you for hanging out and passing by. I appreciate you. But like, yeah, I do this for you. I do this for the passion of just like, fuck, man. Inspire people like you to think bigger. Like for people like Duncan, where it's just like, fuck, man, I have this awesome setup. I should fucking do OBS like Joe. Because this shit will fucking, if I just want to play video games all day, it makes more sense to be in different platforms, and this is how I'll do it. And this is why I just provided the example, just like, yeah, use ChatGPT, and this is step by step how I do it. Yeah, it's a long fucking process, but like, fuck, like you're gonna get to where you're gonna get to. Like without ChatGPT, yeah. When I first did it, like, you know, ask, and this is another thing with ChatGPT, you have to ask the right questions. You can't just be very, if you're not specific enough in your questions, then ChatGPT is not gonna be able to answer your questions, right? So when I was initially trying to do it the first time on my MacBook, it was a little bit more difficult to do it. Sir Buck, welcome in. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. It was a little more difficult, but now, since I know how important or valuable ChatGPT is, like, I know how to ask the right questions now, or be more upfront where it says, hey, this is where you find it, blah blah blah, and I send the picture. It's like, nope, I see this shit, and it's like, oh yeah, you're right, it's actually here now, you should look here. And it's like, okay, cool, perfect, we'll do that. So this is where it's important, which is like, you know, look in the terms of working smarter, not harder. Always find an easier way to do shit. If you're making it so fucking difficult to do shit, oh my god, good luck. Hello, 4 million viewers. And also the people who are looking at me at search. Appreciate you guys coming in. But like, yeah, straight up, like, make it easy for you. Don't make it so fucking hard. 100%. Like, even uploading the stuff, I don't make very like customized descriptions of shit. I always use the same descriptions, because, and you know why? Because it makes it easy and repetitive. Like again, like, you don't have to recreate the wheel like 5 million times. Key is to be calm. Yeah, to be patient and be calm. 100%. Even though like there are individuals who like will, you know, maybe they don't do it intentionally, but they fucking just say the same shit over and over and over, and it's just like, shut the fuck up already. I mean, whatever. But like, going back to what I was saying, if you're going to a passion project or stuff you like to, unless you are blessed to be in a position where like people are just throwing money at you, then shit, congratulations what you're doing. But the end of this all, like, never have it in the position where just like you're chasing the fucking money. Oh, gotta change the name. Punsit is here now. Hold on. Okay, come on, Punsit. Oh, its name. Why is it Bunsit? It's funny because I'm looking at the other screen that runs the translator, and then it says Bunsit, but not Punsit. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but yeah, like you gotta find. I mean, always go for passion. Go for what you love to do. Don't chase the fucking money, because if you chase the fucking money, sometimes you're gonna keep on fucking chasing, and maybe the opportunities to make money, you're just blinded by, I need to find money, and the answers are just on the side of you. You know what I'm saying? So always go through passion, and passion will find you to lead to being monetary. So like, when people fucking ask the question, like, even like if I was in the United States and I got asked the question, oh, are you making money right now? I'll be upfront. No, I'm not doing it for the fucking money. I'm doing it for improving people's lifestyles here in the Philippines. Why? This thing is self-improvement. This is for improving fucking you. Like, this is where I get out of this. Like, regardless of what people are saying of the stuff I own and stuff, like having the gloom and doom of like, oh, you did this shit before. Well, like, well, fuck. Okay. I'm not too worried about that shit. But like, again, going in the position where just like, you go for the love of it, you go for the passion of it. This is where like, you know, you'll make a bigger difference. This is where avenues will fucking open to you. This is where you meet the people you fucking meet. Like, I firmly believe there's a reason why I met, like, again, with my Esau girlfriend is the best example, right? I was a follower of her, and some way, somehow, through a connection of a mutual individual, we actually connected, and then we became friends. I am one of her mods for her channel, even though it's a challenge for me being your mod for a channel because I don't know Tagalog as well. But shit, I make my presence there. But like in the same way, just like having people like that in my background to support me, being people like Titan Huga Katera and those people from AGF, Hugat Fam, the random people I made, people within those circles where I met. It's amazing. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I'll teach you Spanish, brother. I think I know Spanish. De donde el baño? A la biblioteca. I'm just kidding. Where's the bathroom? It's in the library. But yeah, go for your passion. And then I always believe, go for your passion, the money follows you. It always will. And if you keep on thinking about, and I knew that there's no tissue in the bathroom. Hello, it's okay. You can just use the tabo method, or use your cup of hands. Gina's trying to welcome in. Hope you're doing well. But like, always a firm believer. Like, have faith. Have some fucking faith. Like, have some fucking faith that you will make it through. Like even like, you know, I hate to say, like even for people who are going through the worst shit in their life, like have some faith that you're gonna get out of it. Like, even if, like, for example, and I made a, you know, there was one example this morning where just like someone was going through something, I was like, you just meditate. And then I hear, oh, I meditated once and didn't do anything for me. Well, how many times did you meditate? How much of an attention did you actually do to it? Like, and I feel like, you know, again, like the thing with meditation is like, you have to keep on doing it over and over and over. Like, until the point where it gets to like your mind or your mentality is so different when you weren't meditating, and you've been meditating for the past 2 months or past 2 weeks or whatever. I always strongly say it. If you take time in your day to meditate at least once a day, every single day, for at least 2 weeks, see how your position in life or your mentality is. Again, granted, you may be dealing with a lot of shit, but how you handle it is different. How you handle it's fucking different. And that's why I try to take it. That's why I try to tell people, which is like, yes, you can't just do one thing one time and say, oh, it didn't work for me. Well, fuck, how many times did you do it? And like, you know, I also make the mention as well, which is like, you know, yes, you may be going to the lowest of lows and you're thinking about some options to say bye-bye early, but just like, be bigger than that. Be much more bigger and see why you're still here. Like, there is so much opportunity if you just open your eyes and realize, yes, I'm going through a lot of shit right now, but honestly, it's gonna be okay. It will be okay. And this is why, like, you know, I remember talking to certain individuals where like, they're going through a lot of shit. Like, they went through massive shit, massive issues, massive problems. And lo and behold, they're still here and they're thriving. They're doing okay. There's one person who I know, like, she was going through a lot of stuff. And, you know, she also dealt with someone close to her moving forward. And I kept on telling her, just hang in there. You'll be okay. Like, yes, it fucking sucks right now, but just understand the circumstances where everything's going to work out how it should be. And like, and it's like, you know, even though in those conversations where it's just like, it is difficult to talk when someone has an individual that moved on that's close to them. Like, how do you talk to them? Like, you can't say, are you okay? How are you doing? Is everything okay? You can't say that shit because just like, some people get pissed. Even that person who's going through that shit, which is like, they'll be like, well, how the fuck do you think I'm feeling right now? So like, it's like, you know, you got to treat it a certain way, which is like, okay, how are you doing? Or at least allow them to know that I'm here for you. It may not be the situation where, like, okay, you're saying, is everything okay? But you can just leave in the avenue where just like, I'm here. If you ever need me, I'm here. Here, drink some water again. Just making yourself available to individuals, even if they don't even respond to you. The key is water. Absolutely key is water. Drink a gallon a day. Shit, the amount of time I just talk, I better have a lot of water. But like, you know, you're putting yourself available to say, hey, I'm here. If you need ever just talk, even if it means to talk, if you just need to call me and we just talk about nonsense, even if we don't talk about stuff, but just to get your mind off of shit, make yourself available to people. They'll realize like, oh shit, this is a legit guy. So that one individual I was talking, she's like, yeah, she was like, yeah, you know, cause I think Maureen, welcome in. How you doing? Long time. I don't think you're brand new. Make sure you give me a follow. Appreciate you do. I speak some amazing stuff. Maybe I can inspire you with your 1,320 followers to do some fucking amazing shit. Appreciate you give me a follow. But like, I think again, like it's just like, you know, for her, it's not going to say she was inviting me to a PK I'm doing, and she's like, she told me in DM, just like, hey, I'm sorry, I've never been able to be able to support you, blah 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 blah, but I appreciate you being there for me. So sometimes you just gotta do that. Thank you for the follow, Marine. I appreciate you. I'm also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, NYT. Check my profile if you want to check me out there as well. I'm a podcaster here, and sometimes I sing, sometimes I play music also as well. Santelma, welcome in. How are you doing? But like I was saying, keeping yourself available and telling people, hey, I'm here for you. If anytime you need me, plays fucking dividends. And it's the same thing as like even the situation I'm talking about before, which is like, you know, do it for the love of stuff. Don't ever just do it for the fucking money, because if you even do it for the money and you're the highest pinnacle of everything and you can buy everything you fucking want, but you haven't fixed this or you haven't gone with purpose and you're still a fucking piece of shit. I hate to say it, but you're still a piece of shit, or you're not fixing this. Money can't solve this. It's you solving this. So this is where like always, and sometimes people say, oh, I can't, Joe. I can't follow my passion because I need to do this. Well, like, fuck. You can still do stuff that makes you this, but work on your passion. Because one way or another, I always tell you from the beginning, the people who've been following me, your passion and of this monetary thing always come hand in hand, where one way or another, something's going to come out monetary for you, or even opportunities. If you believe in the term abundance, everybody, or the avenues of allowing yourself to let it go, or, to surrender to the law of attraction. You'll fucking realize like, oh my goodness, like not even worrying about the doubters who are telling you, Joe, don't do that shit, or don't do this, or you're found, you're freaking saying, oh, you should be afraid about the stuff you did. You did that. Well, fuck. You put yourself, if you ingrain yourself with all that negativity, all that sadness, all the lack of your life, then yeah, that's the reason why you don't go any fucking where. But what I'm saying is like, you know, if you're able to, you know, ignore what people say because they're going off of fear of shit, then basically what you should be doing is this. You keep progressing, keep believing in the shit you're doing. Don't need to worry about how you're going to get there. Just know you're going to get there. The same thing as this whole journey when I started this podcast, when I say, welcome to the world's famous Billions Watched here on TikTok and other platforms. Look, shit. Look what ended up happening. Yes, my voice is very fluidy tonight, but that's usually what happens at night. But like, look what happened now. It's because of the intention we put out there and where we are, the net we are in. We're making it fucking happen. I always believe there's reasons why things happen as they should, or things occur when they happen because of the fact you put so much fucking belief in it that you know that you're going to fucking make it. And it takes one individual being fucking headstrong to believe that they themselves can do it. And this is what I'm telling you. We're just like, fuck, man. Like, never sell yourself short. Don't. Why? Like, yeah, okay. You know, also too, like the passion piece, we're just like, yeah, maybe the first time, like, it's not successful, but why fucking stop? If this is your passion of doing shit, you just keep on fucking going for it. Like, you know, I had a recent conversation with my brother earlier, which is like, we're talking about what to do being sustainable here. And it's like, he was like, oh, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, or do that. And it was like, well, I'm doing this. And then always the concept of like, oh, are you making something out of it? Well, it's like, no, I'm not fucking worried about it. But I'm doing this. I'm doing a passion project, the shit I want to fucking do, where I'm putting so much fucking attention to it. But watch us. Like, watch where the fuck we're going, and we're getting fucking there. And like all the stuff that's happening right now, like, well, fuck. Like, honestly, this will lead to some shit. This will lead to something amazing. Watch me. If you haven't, and it's funny too. I remember like someone was telling me, like I was talking to them. They were like, we had a conversation because I always say this shit in my lives. I say it to him. I say it to everyone, and they're like, man, Joe, you are fucking an individual. If you say something, you fucking do it, and you actually do it. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm fucking saying. Believe in yourself so fucking much that you're just like, oh, yeah, I'm gonna do it. Watch me. I can give 2 cares of what you think about me and why you feel I'm not gonna succeed, but watch me. It's not about proving you wrong, but just fucking watch how far we go. And watch how far we are gonna succeed in this. And imagine that. Like, honestly, Christine, welcome back. Like, we have gone so far since when we transitioned to where we are right now, Joe Lobo from the Authentic Podcast, back in late July. We have grown so fucking much to the point where just like, yeah, it'll be fucking amazing if we get to our awesome goals that me and Moisa Girl talk about. Yeah, absolutely. It'll be fucking amazing if we get there. But I realized it was just like, I'm gonna be bigger in other places too. And if you're in a position like me, where it's just like, fuck, you know what? I know I can be bigger than just here. And hearing this podcast from Joe Lobo, the Authentic Podcast, saying the same shit, where I should put myself in other places, like you as a singer. Like, fuck, if you are a singer and you sing well on TikTok, maybe it's an option for you to think about. Maybe I should be in YT and just do what do you call those things where they do renditions of a cover. Put some content in YT and do a cover, or maybe go live and do covers. Now you gotta be careful, of copyright. But I think it's fine if you're just playing the instrumental and you're singing the song. You can say, I'm fucking singing. What the fuck do you want me to do? I mean, you can try and see what happens, right? But I think for the most part, like, you'll see stuff come out of it. Like, even for that singer, like even like, you know, I think even if it's a singer, like if you're doing covers on YT, or there's other specific audio platforms that you should be on. Like, I think one thing I'm thinking about is SoundCloud. Like, if you're a singer, I don't think it's wrong if you're just gonna put your, you know, for example, if you're gonna put your covers on SoundCloud, because one way or another, if you're fucking consistent and you keep on working and pounding your feet down the path that you're supposed to be going, regardless of what the shit you see, something amazing will happen. Like, even when in the heyday of SoundCloud, like these artists who, you know, for example, most of these artists, like they always, I don't know if it's a joke for rappers, but like SoundCloud, they always say SoundCloud artists. Like, you'd be surprised, like the people be listening to your stuff and on another platform where they're like, holy shit, like this is really good, I'm gonna contact them. And like, you as a singer, just for putting your content on YT, or putting your content on SoundCloud, or putting your content on any other audio platform where people can download and listen to it. Holy shit. Jam, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. I appreciate you giving me a follow as well if you love my content. Yeah, you do follow me. Hope you're having a great one. But like, yeah, this goes back again when I'm saying, like, it's just putting yourself in different platforms and putting yourself in different buckets to see what falls. And this is where, like, for me, yes. Okay, my Live Fest. Did I make it to the final round 3? No. Like, am I too worried if like only 1 or 2, 3 people watch me a day? No. Because you know why? I'm on other platforms where I'm seeing fucking far more success. Like, TikTok has been the jumping platform to kick me in the pants to say, Joe, you should do this shit too. And look at me now. I'm almost at a point. I'm waiting on TikTok support to give me the freaking keys so that I can run it on OBS. We'll find out tomorrow and do a test stream on YT and see if it works. Maybe you guys want to join me there and see how it looks like. It'll probably be a short live because I want to just make sure shit works. But I think for the most part, branching yourself out to the point. And I always go back to the beginning when I was talking to my friends in Authentic Circle. The ones who are, trying to make something big out of this. It's just like, you gotta think bigger than TikTok. I hate to say it for individuals here on, who are loving what they're doing here. And again, if you're making something great of what you're doing here on TikTok, then shit, you don't have to listen to me. Go somewhere fucking else. Like, honestly, but at the end of the day, where I tell people, think bigger than TikTok, because there's a there's probably an untapped shit that you even looked at because you didn't think bigger than just TikTok. Queen Allie, welcome in. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Thanks for coming back. But like, you'd be amazed. And I just tell that again, like, if you want to do this full time, I speak to the individuals in my, how are you doing, Queen Ali? I speak to the individuals who are content creators like me, whether you are a podcaster, whether you stream, or whether you are a great singer. There's bigger shit than TikTok. There's much bigger shit in TikTok. 100%. Like for example, I go back to what I was saying before, where I talk about like, welcome to the world's famous billions watched here on TikTok and blah 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 other platforms. And I say that I pose the question again, just like, is there really billions of people here on TikTok? No. But, however, if you add in all the other places you are, yeah, probably fucking billions. And you gotta think like that. You gotta think as an individual who says like, yeah, everything's fucking possible. You gotta think about it as an individual. It's like, yeah, I can do this shit. Watch me. I'm just tired. Well, I hope you get some rest. And I hope this is Queen Allie. I hope like my motivational talk to you, if this is what you're talking about, helps you. At the end of the day, it's not about me. I always say this again in multiple times. It's not about me. It's about you. It's about you, inspiring you to do some amazing shit. And maybe there's other people who get inspired off you because how inspired you are because of me. That's why I do this shit. This is why I get so pumped when I do these podcasts, because it's just like, I'm inspiring fucking someone to do something amazing. Especially here in the Philippines, where like, again, I know here in the Philippines, sometimes you just have to shut the fuck up and just do what you have to do, because you have to support a family. You have to do this. You have to do this. You must work. Like, but I'm just telling you, like, sometimes it makes you put in a position where you're like, you're chained down to, what's that? You're chained down to slavery of just like working the same day, doing this because you have to work. But if you are in a position where, you have this amazing talent, right? You have this amazing talent to do some amazing stuff. Yes, you can take kids. You can take care of your responsibilities of shit and work on the other stuff part-time, but eventually the belief of your passion of what you are going to do, you'll level up where your passion is going to be driving this, the monetary. It takes fucking time. And you're asking how long it's going to take. I don't know how long it's going to fucking take, as long as how much of a driver you're doing this to make this shit fucking work. How much effort you're going to put into the amount of shit you're doing. Like why I'm doing all this stuff on my iMac to make this where I can stream in 2 places at once, or more than 2 streams at once. I mean, there's other places as well, but I'm just thinking about, okay, well, would I work there? I don't know. But for now, it's just going to be 2 places. Here on TikTok and here on and also on YT. Koi Vlogs, welcome in. How you doing, brother? Hope you're doing well. So this is where I challenge you all. I challenge you to Think outside the box. Believe you can do stuff. Make time for the shit you want to do. Because let's be honest here. Like, do you want to be working this job, even though it pays well, for the rest of your life, or you actually want to do something that's fucking monumental? And I hate to say it, there's just like some people have some amazing fucking talent, but they're not taking ownership to fucking go ahead and just say, let's go fucking do it. And then they come to realize years down the road, they're like, fuck, I had this opportunity. If I didn't do anything, now I'm doing this. Well, and it's the same thing. It's just like those individuals, like, don't worry how far people go, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you decide to do what you want to do, and the same person who's with you, it's like, wow, they're 10 times bigger as me. How the fuck did you get bigger as me? Because one kept on being consistent, and one stopped believing. It goes back to, and I think most of you probably seen it or not, and you can probably check it on Google, when you Google, like, there's an image of two people digging a hole to access the diamonds. One person was literally one strike away, and he says, I give up, and walks away. And he literally sees in the picture that one more strike can show him all the diamonds, so makes him wealthy. And there's another guy up top that keeps on just chugging away. And this is where I'm saying you just got to keep on going at it. Even though right now it may seem as if, like, fuck, it's going nowhere. Well, fuck, it's going to find something. It's going to find an avenue. You just got to put your fucking effort in it. And sometimes people, individuals, like, have to find a fucking hobby to realize what their potential worth is and what they can do, and stop worrying about, like, what's happening in the present or what's happening down the road, or what they're putting fears in their life and doing shit. Just fucking do it. Take the risk. Take the fucking risk. Because at the end of the day, the more uncomfortable you get, the more risks you take, wow, you can go mighty far. You're gonna go mighty fucking far. So, like, even for example, even shouts out to my Isager, who has got me to the position where I'm at with my following count here on TikTok. That's fucking amazing. If I look back 4 months ago and where I was half that number. But for her, like, shouts out to her, like a true fucking friend. Like, I'm very appreciative to have her on my side, and especially her partner Jet. They're cool people. But the stuff that my Isager girl does for me, like, that's cool. I appreciate that shit. It's just like, she even tells herself, just like, yeah, I have a huge following, but I don't have a handful of friends. And for even to regard her as like, Joe, you're my friend. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking appreciative. And this is where, like, you know, again, it answers the question as well, like, well, fuck, Joe, why aren't you with these people anymore? And we're just like, it goes back to the situation where it's just like, okay, being effortless and be a friend with somebody, or just, or being in a situation where it just feels like you have to give something to somebody to be their fucking friend. It's like, holy goodness. Like, it should be fucking effortless to be a friend. And that's how life is. Again, I always say as well, friends always come and go. They always do. They always do. Friends will always come and go. Sometimes you lose. I use the hands, bro, and it's effective. That's good. See? You gotta wash them, though. So, like, again, people, you probably lose friendships, but there's a reason, because you lose friendships because they just don't fit your dynamic no more. But the new friends you gain, wow. It's fucking amazing what you're gonna get out of that. It's fucking amazing what you're gonna gain from that, or the connections you're gonna build from that. It's like, even the recent ones I made. Shouts out to, this Miss DJ Bren and Earn to Win ETW Studios. I think they're like I was checking some of them. They play games, and then you can have individual people come up, and then they talk about, like, what they talk about. They basically talk about they play games, but sometimes they have their parts. I met like DJ Penguin and DJ Bren from there. Like, amazing people. I need to get to. It's been a busy month, so like I have to hang out with them eventually where we'll talk. But like, shit, just meeting people like that. Who knows where our relationship's gonna be in a couple months from now? But it's just aligning me with like people like that, or the potential relationships we'll have just because of what we're doing in Apple Podcasts and Spotify, even YT. And this is where it's just like I'm manifesting where the fuck I'm gonna go. I'm manifesting, and I've been telling you, I'm telling you guys from the beginning. We always talk about this podcast and how fucking successful it is, and see where it is, and we're still talking the same way. And look what's happening. Look how far we've gone. Look at like how much we have progressed to the point of belief of like, fuck, we're gonna get to where the fuck we're gonna go. Watch. Even with the equipment, it's funny because like, you know, even when I was talking about the equipment I bought and blah blah blah, and there's one individual just like, I'm gonna stay with this. I'm gonna stay with this equipment, whatever. Okay, well, shit. But for the folks and individuals who like you who've joined me and listened to my podcast, you can see 9-day difference of like, if you don't need the best equipment, but however, when you start investing in better equipment, you sound much fucking better. When you actually when you get to a point where you can afford it, and like you actually give a shit about your content and give a shit about how you act and brand yourself. Oh my goodness, like you'll see like how far you progress with your shit. And this is why I put so much emphasis on like what I'm trying to do with OBS and all this stuff and what my intentions are and why I'm doing the multifaceted stuff. Yeah, I haven't sang for a while, but maybe we'll bring that back. But just like I have been so fucking busy, but I've been playing a lot of video games, and we'll eventually get to the PS5 streaming. So like put yourself a mini backup. But this is always be this shit here. This podcast, the Joe Lobo Presents the Authentic Podcast. We're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YT. Here live on TikTok, and also we're gonna be live on YT as well. Watch us. But we're gonna have some amazing shit. We're gonna do some amazing shit. So now I want to talk about what happened to the PS5. So okay, my brother bought the PS5 here from my storage. I have my PS5. I have my PS5 remote. He just realized that, okay, so, you know, he brought, what you call it? VA Ozzy, welcome in, how you doing? You know, I was telling him, make sure you bring all the other stuff with the PS5, and he thought he brought it, but what it ended up doing is he brought boxes on the plane, and he also bought boxes that we shipped on the boat that will be here in a month and a half or so. He didn't realize that the shit that was for the PS5, I think he didn't realize that he got here, and I was asking him, like, where the fuck did you put it? Like, he shipped it here. So what does that mean? The controllers, the accessories I have for the PS5 are going to be here in a month and a half from now. And he shipped it like literally 2 weeks ago. So now I have a PS5 with a PS5 remote. However, it can't fucking play games because I don't have a controller. Okay, now the question, the more hilarious thing is I'm in the province of Bohol. We don't have an SM here. We have the local malls. So I went to one mall here in one of the popular malls here in Bohol, in Tacbalaran. I went to every store. They don't have a PS5. There was actually a Benson's, and there's like, yeah, we don't have the controllers, but we have the PS5 for sale. And I was like, what the fuck do I want to buy a PS5 for when I don't have a controller? So apparently, even the major malls here don't sell PS5 accessories. So I'm like, fuck, what do I do? So I think tomorrow I'm gonna try to go to. There's other malls downtown because there's an accessory store that I think they may have it. I try to like, and it's funny too. Like if for businesses here in the Philippines, all the businesses are Facebook based, so you can message them. I messaged one of them, was like, hey, do you have a PS5 controller? So I'm gonna do a search for a PS5 controller tomorrow, and hopefully I find one. So I can actually start using this. And meaning what I want to do for my PS5 is basically I have a capture card. I have this. I have the Elgato. I'm gonna flip this around. Hold on, give me a second. I can't unmirror this? Oh, because I'm using dual screen. I have the Elgato HD60X. So what does this mean? What this basically means, we're gonna be video capturing me playing video games on my PS5, which will be available also on OBS. So all those days I've been playing on my phone, on my thumbs, and I was bitching, complaining about like, fuck, how the fuck I hate fucking playing with my thumbs on my on my phone. Well, that's just about to end. Now the journey is going to be, okay, if I can find a controller. So crossing my fingers that like I can find a controller here in in Bohol, maybe downtown. We'll see. But I can also buy it in Shopee. It's just gonna take 2 weeks to get here. Or I don't know when we're going to Cebu. I think definitely Cebu would have it, but I don't know where we're gonna go. My brother was saying a week from now, but a lot of things can change in the week. So that's the major issue. Is like I have a PS4. I bought the membership for PSN. I have Black Ops 7, Call of Duty Black. That's one of the main games I usually play. I play Call of Duty, and on a console. So I have Black Ops 7 in there. I can't play it because I only have I only have this. A PS5 remote. That's the only thing I have. I can't do anything else with it. I was able to set it up with my remote, but other than that, I need to find a remote. But it's hilarious. Like, I can understand too. It's it's what it is. We're like, I'm in the province of Bohol, and we don't have a lot of resources to even have shit like that. So I'll find it. And most people, I think most people have order online. I wish the availability was faster. Obviously, United States, you can get stuff in with an hour or tomorrow. You have the availability shit is faster. But I think for the most part, honestly, here it's like 1 or 2 weeks. So I can get this at Shopee, but I'm gonna find out what I can get tomorrow. But going back to my brother, just like thinking in my head, just like, didn't you realize? Like sometimes it's hilarious. Like he showed me a controller, and it was for a Nintendo Switch. And I was like, he was like, is this it? And I thought he was joking. I was like, are you serious? No. So like, but what I'm going back to is just like, okay, well, didn't you think about? And this is where in my mind, like if I'm in my mind, I'm bringing stuff to the Philippines or going somewhere. I always think about, okay, is this here? Is this here? Is this here? It just seems like that they're just throwing shit in the box and doing this and that, and they totally forgot. Like, oh, maybe my brother needs the controllers or the head. There's actually a headset. There's a headset I bought, but I probably won't use because of the fact that how we're doing our setup. Probably gonna use these IEMs with my mono casters to hear shit. But I think what's important is just like, being in a position where it's just like, okay, well, if I have if I'm saying my brother his PS5, he probably needs the controllers. Maybe I should pack them together, right? It didn't happen, but it's to each his own, whatever. But anyway, that was like the stuff I was just talking about. Which is like I was trying to hunt for it like in the mall. I was asking everyone, like, where can I buy this? And it was like, oh, you check here. You couldn't find it. So hopefully you can find it tomorrow. If not, I have to order from Shopee. I'm not gonna order the my brother was naturally saying, why don't you just get the fake one or get this one? No, I'm gonna get the legit shit because those are durable. Why I'm gonna? And I look at that position, it's like, well, fuck. I don't want a position where just like I'm buying something and it fucking breaks immediately. So hopefully, cross my fingers, I buy something. If not, I have to wait a week until it arrives. And we'll see from that. So yeah, so that was my day today, where just basically, for the most part, it was setting up the future essentially of Joe Lobo Presents. That's what we are. Joe Lobo Presents. Even though I'm Joe Lobo here, what's up, Thor? How are you doing? Even though I'm Joe Lobo here, but on other platforms or how on like a YT, it's Joe Lobo Presents because of what we're going to offer and provide. So I've been doing a lot of that. I was doing this stuff, but why am I saying all this stuff? It's just like, as I mentioned about the law of attraction and manifestation, just like there are going to be some times where you have to do some stuff. Like, even if you believe in it so much and you're manifesting what the outcomes are going to be, blah, 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 there has to be some things you have to do. There has to be things you have to actually do. So given that, the stuff I'm doing right now is going to lead to something bigger. Regardless of what people think that this is not successful to you, why do you do it? It's why you waste your time. Well, shit, watch. I'm a firm believer that the stuff you put into shit will fucking explode to other shit. So watch us. So anyway, it's been a fun podcast as always. Again, if you want to catch all my other previous podcasts, we're back. I think this is episode 41 now. If you want to catch all my podcasts, I appreciate you go to Spotify. You also go to Apple Podcasts. Even on YT, well, even YT is only the ones that have the non-copyright music, which is, you know, the past 3 that are on YT, including this. So, but for my previous stuff, you can always look in Apple Podcasts. You can always look in Spotify. Go to my TikTok profile. Take a look at all the places I'm at. Even the folks who are listening to me on my other platforms, like you can also go here in TikTok or the other platforms to see where it sounds like the versions, like whatever's available. Because I think Spotify is the video version of this, but on Apple Podcasts, unless we change it, it's probably going to change. It's probably going to be a little bit different. But again, it's been an honor and pleasure to talk to you guys tonight, this morning. And then again, I always feel that there are reasons why people are here because I'm inspiring the fuck out of you. And if you're just sitting here just like putting your thumb in everybody, just like, I don't hear what the fuck you're saying, then why the fuck are you here? But again, honor and pleasure to do these podcasts too. I don't do this for myself. I do this for you. I do this for the individuals who are getting inspired to believe, yes, I can do the same shit Joe Lobo is doing. And he just says, watch me do it. Well, shit, I'm going to say to him too, watch me do it. Whatever it is, have the full belief that you can do anything the fuck you want. Yes, some people are going to be deniers and not believe in yourself. Again, there's supporting and believing. There'll be a lot of people support you, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be believing in you as well. So at the end of the day, you just prove them wrong and say, watch me do it. Watch me fucking do it. Anyway, it's been an honor and pleasure talking to you all. You guys have a great and wonderful night, morning, afternoon, wherever you're at. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for vibing with me. Before I do something, I'm going to do something real quick because I just thought about something where someone's asking about my updates and she is a mod in my place. So why the fuck not? I'm going to do something real quick. Hold on. So she gets it. Just in case. Just talking about it. Did she get it? There you go. Now she gets it. All right. It's been an honor and pleasure talking to you guys. You guys have a great one. We'll be back for another episode soon. Hopefully by then we'll have something situated where maybe I'm not on my phone anymore. You'll probably gonna see how amazing shit we're doing if you saw my stories. Anyway, my name is Joe Lobo. Come follow me on the other platforms. You can see me on Spotify. You can see me on Apple Podcasts. Also on YT. I'll talk to you soon. You guys have a great and wonderful evening, night, morning, wherever you're at. Take care.